Oh. All right, thank you, Mr. Pickens. So, welcome to the gallery for our March meeting. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners on the land on which we meet tonight and pay my respects to elders and elders of any other community that may be present this evening. Thank you. Councillors, before we start, I'd just like to publicly acknowledge the appointment this week of Ms. Jenna Allen as Director of Corporate and Mr. Dan McLaughlin as Infrastructure and Assets, and wish them well and all the best going forward. So congratulations, all the best.
Yeah. Thank you, mate.
Receipt of apologies, we have one from Councillor Stewart.
That's correct, Mayor.
Item 3, confirmation of minutes of previous meeting. Councillors, we have a recommendation that the council adopt the council meeting held on Wednesday, the 14th of February 2024. And council adopt the minutes of the council meeting held on Friday, 23rd of February 2024. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please?
Happy to move that.
Councillor Hogan, a seconder.
Yeah, happy to second that, Mr. Mayor.
Bill, any discussion?
No.
All those in favour? Carried. Request for leave of absence. I have none to my knowledge.
No, I have none, Mayor.
Thank you. Declaration of pecuniary conflicts of interest. In accordance with section 132 of the Local Government Act 2020, councillors who have a conflict of interest in respect to a matter being considered at this meeting must A, disclose the conflict of interest in the manner required by the Council's Government Rules 2020, and A, exclude themselves from the decision-making process in relation to this matter, including any discussion or vote on the matter at any council meeting or delegated committee and any action in relation to this matter. Disclosure must occur immediately before the matter is considered. Councillors, do we have any conflict of interest? Thank you. Questions from the public, of which we have 2.
We do, Mayor. We have 2 that I know you have reviewed.
Thank you very much. Under the governance rules, I will not be answering both questions posed to council by yourself on behalf of Gary Murray, as they are repetitive of a question already answered at a previous meeting. However, I wish to make the following statement and on public record. On this matter, council has been incredibly open, engaging in its dealings with you and the traditional owners that you appear to represent, to the point of convening an on-country meeting involving traditional owners, state government agency, councillors and council staff, key community groups and community members. At the meeting, it was decided a working group would be formed reflecting those who met on Mount Witchy-Proof to advance the Mount Witchy-Proof EMU management plan in what was agreed and would be truly harmonious way. Traditional owner attendance at the working group meetings was minimal, and your behaviour constantly contravened the spirit in which the group was formed, to the point where there was no progress being made at all, and I was ultimately forced to take the step to suspend the working group. Whilst we respect the nature of the animal and the extreme importance, council will not be seeking an urgent meeting on this matter. Council is considering its options in relation to the emu population on Mount Witchy-Proof and will consult with you and the traditional owners you represent, again in good faith, when we broadly consult with the community on the matter again. Thank you. 7.1, report of council assemblies. Council, we have a recommendation that the noted report of council assemblies meeting held 7th of February and 21st of February 2024. Could I have a mover and a seconder for those, please?
Yeah.
A seconder. Councillor Pollard, any discussion?
No.
All those in favour? 7.2, letters of congratulation and recognition and achievement awards, which I have none. Councillor Mill.
Thank you. Through Mr. Mayor, I'd like to nominate Shane Bolton, who has just received his 50 years service award for his lifetime with elders, livestock and real estate. Shane received that award last week, I believe, but at the at the sale, and I would like to recommend him for a letter of recognition, if I can, please.
Thank you, Councillor Milne. In that case, the council acknowledges and congratulates the person or groups mentioned in the report for their achievement. And I'm assuming Councillor Milne, you will move that.
I will move that.
Second, please. Councillor Simpson. All those in favour? That's carried. Thank you.
I'll have one.
Oh, sorry, Councillor Hay.
Only a couple of days ago, the Australian Street Art Awards were announced, and the Marley Hart Festival in Birchip received a bronze award. It's the national award from the Australian Regional Tourism Incorporated, and this is the first Wimmera Mallee event that's been recognised since they commenced doing awards in 2018, and I'd just like to congratulate the organising committee and the committee of Birchip for all the work they put in for the, this is for the 2023 one, but the other one was just on the weekend for the Mallee Hart Festival.
Thank you, Councillor Milne.
I'm happy to have that included, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Simpson. Thank you. 7.3, correspondence initiated by council, Office of the CEO.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, attached is a letter that has been sent through to the Minister for Road and Road Safety, Honourable Melissa Horn, also the Honourable Jade Benham in relation to the electrical boundary review that was conducted by the VEC in the previous 6 months or so, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you. Council, we've got a recommendation that council note the record of correspondence initiated by council and the response received. Can I get a mover and a seconder for those, please?
Yes, Mayor.
Councillor Warren, a seconder. Councillor Simpson, discussion, councillor.
I think it reflects the council's dissatisfaction with the review.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a comment if I could. I'd just like for the record to know that this was not a unanimous decision to send this letter, and I actually advocated very strongly and put a presentation in relation to maintaining the current structure with a different outcome. So I would just like to have it noted that this was not a unanimous position by the council to send this letter to the Honourable Minister. Thank you.
Thank you. Nothing further. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Thank you. 7.4, building permit monthly update. Now, I'm not sure who's, but Jenna, are you still in the community development chair at this point? Over to you.
Thank you, Mayor, and through you, councillors, this is your standard monthly report providing information on building permits approved for the month of February for your noting.
Thank you. Council's got a recommendation that council note information contained in the report on building permits approved by staff from 1 February to 29 February 2024. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please?
Happy to move, Mr. Mayor.
Earl, a seconder. Councillor Pollard, any discussion?
Just a question, if I can, Mr. Mayor. With the second and third item, 31 and 33, on the list, I've had a question from a Watcham local wanting to know what the difference is between construction of a new building and construction of a new building single story, both for similar or neighbouring lots, if I can, please.
I'll take that on notice.
Yep.
Forward through the response.
We're assuming one's a dwelling and one's a shed, but
I'll clarify.
yeah, all right, thank you.
Anything further? All those in favour? That's carried.
Actually, something from Watcham Rugby.
7.5, planning applications received monthly update. Miss Allen, you're again.
Thank you, Mayor, and through you, councillors, this report provides information on planning applications under consideration by staff and the status of each of these applications.
Thank you. Councils have a recommendation that council note the information contained in the report on planning applications under consideration by staff and the status of each of these applications. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Councillor Pollard and Councillor Warren, seconder. Any discussion, councillor Pollard?
Part of that, noting the information.
Just a point of clarification, in regard to the application regarding rural highway dual fuel. I notice again, we've got notice of application referral. The event is to be held next month, early in the month. Do we have an update as to why there may be some delay, given we're now well into March?
This report's up until the end of February anyway, so we don't know what's happened until during March.
Well, I'll put it this way, there's no permit being issued, I know that. But I'm just wondering, is there any issue, is there a hold-up?
Not that I'm aware of, councillor Warren, it's my understanding. I will clarify, I'll take it on notice to clarify.
Thank you.
But yeah.
Councillor Milne?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a question on double 03, item 003 in the application list. What's the nature of the heritage, the outbuilding with the heritage overlay, please? So it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth one down from the list.
Wood Street in Donald.
Page 13, second last, yeah.
I will have to take that on notice, councillor.
Not a worry. Indeed.
All those in favour? That's carried, thank you. 7.6, status of action of past council meeting resolutions, office of the CEO.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, the usual monthly report, just advising councillors on the status of recommendations that have been passed to the chamber. Thank you, Mayor.
Good. Council, we have a recommendation of council to note the status of action report by council resolution documented on this list. Rather move from a second, please. Councillor Pollard. Second, councillor Milne. Discussion, councillor Pollard. Councillor Milne.
Nothing to say, Mr. Mayor.
All those in favour? That's passed. Good. Carried. 8, general business. Policy reports, I have nil. 8.2. Hold over the book here. Licensed NRMA Electric Highway Proprietary Limited. Acting Manager of Assets. Well, I don't think you're acting anymore, but anyway, they haven't updated, so Mr. McLaughlin, you're up.
That's okay. That's okay. It's everything. Thank you. The purpose of this report is to grant a license to NRMA Electric Highway Proprietary Limited to install a 4-car EV charging station on part thereof the land commonly referred to as 381 Broadway, which approved a 10-year license and proposed the installation of 2 EV chargers servicing 4 parking bays. The current use of this location is a council staff car park. The EV chargers will be owned, operated and maintained by NRMA. It would also be responsible for the cost of all installation works. This will include a power upgrade to the lot, which will also supply the council office. The upgrade will require an agreement with the Power Corp to establish an easement for the erection of an overhead electric line. The licence fee will be $1 per annum, however, for as long as Buloke Shire are the licence, or the licensee will provide free customer charging up to a maximum of $1,000 worth of kilowatt hour output per year. The initial licence will commence 1 April for a 5-year period, with the licensee having an option for a further 5 years. The councillors have a recommendation before.
Thank you, Mr. McLaughlin. Councillors, we have a recommendation that council grants a licence to NRMA Electric Highway Proprietary Limited for part of the land being Lot 1 TP 675994, containing the certificate of title volume 5222 and folio 214 381 Broadway, which approved Victoria 3527 on the following terms. A 5-year licence commencing the 1st of April 2024, including one further option of 5 years, and B, a licence fee of $1 per annum plus GST if demanded, and 2, authorise the Chief Executive Officer to undertake the administrative position necessary to execute the licence agreement. Councillors, could I have a mover and a seconder, please?
I'll move that, Mr. Mayor.
Sorry, please. Thank you, Councillor Pollard.
with an option for, sorry, man, it's a 5-year lease, 5-year license commencing 1 April, including a further option for an extra 5 years, which would be a total of 10.
Moved by councillor Pollard, could I have a seconder, please? Councillor Hogan, thank you. A discussion, councillor Pollard.
No, I just think it's great that there's a large company interested in the Buloke Shire to put their charging systems or car charging systems in, and the fact that we're getting a new power supply to the office, I think is a bonus for us.
Thank you. Councillor Hogan.
And this is just another great initiative to create more progressive policy within our shire in relation to the take-up of electric vehicles. Thank you.
Any other councillor Bill?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, just a comment that I guess, while it is good to have these things coming along, there's 1 or 2 communities within our region that could probably do with some of these initiatives, some of these charging stations initially, rather than double up in an existing town. I'm not against them. I just don't understand the NRMA wanting to have so many in one particular location and leave out other places that obviously could benefit from us.
Thank you, councillor Bill. Any other councillor comments?
I suppose, Mayor, just to somewhat endorse councillor, what's your name, Bill? NRME are located in Sydney. They have no idea what Butcher-Proof is. And this came out quite clearly previous discussions about this particular program. There was one commentary by many people. Why would you give it to a Sydney-based organisation to trial it out across Australia when they don't have any understanding about the locations and whether you need it? I suppose it's appropriate that we're starting this on the 1st of April.
Thank you, councillor. So all those in favour? That's carried. Good. 8.22, Buloke Planning Scheme Review. We have someone to present this. Miss Allen, away we go.
Thank you, Mayor, and through you, council, this report provides council with a review of the Buloke planning scheme and recommends that the review be adopted by council and submitted to the Minister of Planning. Councillors, I bring to you the Buloke planning scheme review.
Thank you. Councillor Warren, do you have a motion there?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. Appreciate the work that's gone into this thing, but I have an alternative motion that I'd like council to consider. Is that the council endorse the Buloke planning scheme review report, September 2023, and go out for community feedback. There's one of the things I just elaborate that I noticed through the report, whilst it's pretty much, as it says, been a desktop exercise, there has been no ability for the community to have any input into serious planning issues going forward. So I present that as an alternative motion, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder for councillor Warren's alternative motion?
Second that.
Councillor Milne. Councillor Milne, comment?
I think, Mr. Mayor, I think that the fact that 2018 is a long time ago when this review was started, and also acknowledge the amount of work that's been done and the fact that it is mostly desktop. But I guess we only get one chance at this every 4 years or thereabouts to get this to somewhere that we can work with the planning scheme on things that keep evolving. And we all know that changing a planning scheme is fairly arduous. And I guess that I support the idea of putting it out for public consultation for the simple reason that, you know, if there is people that want to have a say and a comment on stuff that's been started and maybe slowed or stopped altogether, then they have the opportunity to do that before it's taken away from us for another 4 years. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Other councillors, comments? Councillor Pollard?
What concerns me, if we start stalling this, our community gets the opportunity with all the strategic that's got to happen with it. We aren't changing anything. There's just a few little words to make the minister happy, so that it aligns with the state planning system. No actual major change, no real changes to our planning scheme for it that I could find in there. I'm not real comfortable in putting out the community. I prefer to see the community actually looking and commenting back on the strategic work that we've got to do within it. And make the effort, like the community making the effort, instead of just on a document that's not really changing.
Councillor Ballard, any other councillors? Councillor Warren, would you like to write a reply?
Take on board Councillor Pollard's suggestion. However, I see this, given the fact that the community have indicated to us at various times that things like our housing crisis at the moment, we really don't have, I think, robust discussion regarding our plan to see how it can address it. We know we've had the issue regarding the rather stalled rural land usage thing that's been dragging on since 2019. I think that we need to get their input to make sure that we are presenting to the minister something that puts our position clearly that we need to be looked at and this work needs to be done to ensure that in the future that there is still a Buloke Shire. Because if we just let it ride along, we get overrun by bureaucrats in Melbourne who really have had the major input into this document. So not our community, it's their document, it's their community. So I see it as a short, sharp, and as it probably points out that we would do it in the normal thing, which would be to through our communication process. We're not looking for a long, arduous, drawn out situation here, but there is no timeline on this to get to the ministers there.
Through the mayor, it's something that we certainly should have done within this term. So, yeah, I think
we have time to do
certainly have time.
Yeah, so, I mean, look, I think it's an opportunity to engage our community because the last thing we need to be accused of is not engaging our community.
Thank you, Councillor Warren. All right. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Thank you. 8.3, financial reports. I have nil. Organisation reports. I also have nil. Report from Councillor Warren. We'll start on your side of the table.
Now that I've got something of observation, which is report. Other anything else stuff, but no. I'll pass the baton on to say Councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There's been a couple of things since our last meeting, particularly at Buloke Tourism that we've been involved with. First meeting for the year. We've also had Wimmera Valley Tourism Board meeting, which was pretty much our last official Wimmera Valley Tourism Board meeting, in that we have now joined the Grampians Wimmera Valley Visitor Economy Partnership, and as a result, the Wimmera Valley Tourism Board has gone into recess for a few years during the trial, 2-year trial for this joint venture. So we took the opportunity of that meeting to invite all our CEOs along and I guess just to thank them for the work they've done in setting up the new BDP in the way that it is set up, and to give them our thoughts and explanation of the memorandum of understanding that goes with the goes from Wimmera Valley Tourism Board to the new BDP as to how we would like to see the structure after the 2-year trial. And I guess it was it's the end of, it's not the end of the year, but it's the end of that direct involvement by a lot of those members of that board, because now we'll be an advisory board and work from there through the tree up to the board of Grampians and Wimmera Tourism. The Sunraysia Highway Improvement Committee met in Birchip. There's now that we've had a couple of attempts at having to have a meeting with the member for Ripon, the first attempt to bring her to the area and discuss the road. And the situation was put on hold when the bushfires were on in her patch. And we're today with the new date has been put as Friday 15th. So a couple of days, which we already have also the deputy and the members will be attending that. So we look forward to the member for Ripon touring some of the areas with us and to be handed our advocacy document, which is up to date as of this afternoon. And there's something coming out. The other thing that we attended was the send off for two of our aged care workers, and it was a pleasant afternoon, well organised, and sad to see them go. But I was happy that I was able to get along and say thank you. Thank you. That'll do for me, Mr. Lee.
Thank you, Councillor Simpson.
I can't think of anything that I can report on in the last month.
Councillor Pollard.
Probably a couple of things. First, the Golden Highway Improvement Committee is going to have its first meeting for a little while next Friday. And we're working on advocacy.
Friday.
Hey, what's wrong?
This Friday.
Next Friday.
This Friday,
Next Friday.
This Friday?
the 15th.
Yeah.
Beware the Ides of March.
And we've been having a little bit of trouble with our secretariat. We've finally got one that's come in for a little while. So with a bit of luck, we'll get back, and we've got as an advocacy document we're putting together to try and get something happening along the road. The only other thing that we want to be fairly careful of too is biodiversity in sale yards. It's going to be a big thing fairly shortly, and it's something that as a council we're going to have to look at closely because it could end up being a big risk for us. And the other thing, I had a meeting with some Charlton businesses, and they're concerned about flood levels in Charlton, minor, major, minor, moderate, major. Big issue is the minor flood level is a little flush down the river because the weir pushes it over the ridge. And if it was lifted up a little bit, it would probably help a lot with the media by not getting too wound up on a flood that doesn't get out of the river. That's about it, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Pollard. Councillor Hogan.
A couple of ones this month, which were very good, was the official opening of the Birchip Streetscape. And we had a representative from the state government come and have a walk around with us. And yeah, just once again commend the staff, all the work they've put into that. And it was good to see quite a good crowd wandering around the street on a very warm day. And yeah, just taking in all the improvements. And also, similarly, the Advanced Sea Lake meeting the following week, I had a good look at the nearly finalised streetscape improvements in Sea Lake as well. And once again, the community is very grateful for all the work that's been done. And these are major improvements for these little towns. So just those two. Thank you.
Thank you. I emailed my report through earlier in the day, and I just want to highlight one thing. 2 Fridays ago, the CEO and I went to a RCV conference in Melbourne, and later in the day we attended Parliament House to have some discussions. We got I got to speak one-on-one with the Premier, Minister for Local Government as well, and the Secretary of the Department of Infrastructure. So it was a good day. We did a lot of talk. We don't get those opportunities to get into Parliament House to speak with those officers all that often. So it was well worth the trip down to do that. And the rest of my stuff's in the report that will be attached later on. Thank you. 9, other business, notices of motion. I have nil. 9.2, questions from councillors. Councillors, do we have any questions? Councillor
I've
Dwyer.
got a question, Mr Mayor. Staff are probably aware I've been asked to table this from my senior team manager for Ambulance Victoria. I'm just going to say a couple of things first. I don't believe I have a conflict in interest in this. It's in reference to the Sea Lake area, not Charlton. And as a casual employee, I'm employed out of Charlton, not anywhere else. Basically, we should be a little bit aware that I think the Sea Lake Preschool's been offered to Ambulance Victoria for a period of 12 months. They're a little bit concerned on the offer of 12 months because they want to invest a fair bit of money into it, because they've got to put security and everything else involved, and they're wondering if council could consider at least a 5-year term lease with options that can be achieved so they can actually invest some money in it. And I'd just like to add in the conditions of the lease, make sure that we incorporate that they cover the maintenance of the building.
Thank you, Councillor Fine.
No, we are undertaking negotiations currently, Mayor, so I won't preempt the outcome of any of that. That will, of course, be brought to council for approval once all that work is completed, Mayor. Thank you.
Any other questions, councillors? Councillor Miller?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Just a couple of things to run through, and one of my questions is policy reports. We haven't had any for a while. Service reviews. Sorry, is what I'm
Through the Mayor.
So service reviews. Is there a calendar of those somewhere?
Through the Mayor, service reviews did cease some time ago. I'm looking at the Director of Community Development, may not be able to help me out here. We might need to take that on notice, but I understand we did put a pause on them some time ago, when I do recall having that conversation with councils, but we might need to come back to you, councillor.
Yeah, I just can't recall and couldn't find any reference to it in my quick look today, but just thought that
there was a pause.
Question might get an answer.
Yeah, there was a pause. I just can't remember the timing, so we'll check that for you.
One of 3 other items that I've got here is, or a number of items. Birchip Hall, we've had another letter from Simone Christie with regard to Birchip Hall. That's to Councillor Hogan and myself. Ms Allen has responded to Simone in the first instance. But I'm just wondering whether there's a clear plan for what we might be going to do with the requests that are documented in those emails, and whether some of that gear requested will be provided or fixed or replaced, please.
Thank you, Councillor Milne. We will need to we've had an initial inspection, but we do need to get the appropriate professional out to determine whether or not the appliances in question can be fixed or whether they will need to be new purchases.
Right, thank you. My next question is with regard to a question I asked at the briefing in regards to the naming of a road in the Watcham area by some early settlers, Donahue Road. I haven't had a response on that, and I'm tipping that whoever started that's probably long gone. It might be hard to find, but there is the opportunity for a slight change and a different plan if we can find out where that's up to. And I'd like to have that sort of worked on, because there's some importance for the family in a reunion style thing coming up.
Yeah, sorry, through you. We are going to have a considerable list of administrative name changes to roads towards the end of this calendar year that we'll need to go through the process of being gazetted. That'll be part of that road management plan, I guess, administrative clean up. And then throughout that time, there's been other names, certainly a street in Charlton that comes to mind, and there's been all of that. There's some names of the other roads around Watcham around emergency services that will need to be changed as well, which is the Watcham Lake Buloke Road. So the idea is to do it all at once towards the end of the calendar year and have them all gazetted at once. So any changes like that and I just tried to search. I apologise.
Um,
So, all right, but any changes like that should be trying to do it at the same time.
yes, and that reminds me that when looking at the roads that we have, there is a number of double ups and names and things in our area, our watching area. So I'll take that as answered. Thank you. We had a letter from Russell Christie with regard to traineeships, work experience type stuff for students of the Birchip School, particularly in the Birchip Kinder when there was, if there was an opportunity, and I guess I'm wondering whether there's been any progress or anything developed in that area.
I'm not aware of any particular updates.
Not as yet, Councillor Milne. The discussion's been certainly had with the YMCA. At current time, they've got a really significant focus on their workforce and making sure that their workforce is operating at full capacity across the Shire, but there's certainly talks.
Well, I guess Mr. Christie sees this as an opportunity to strengthen their workforce numbers.
Absolutely.
And that it would take the pressure off certainly the kinders, daycares, whatever the role that is put into place, it would take the pressure off those when they were short of staff and give students and people of our own area the opportunity, as explained in the letter, the opportunity to train locally and be available at a proper path, so to speak, if they're at school or within the community. So I'm keen to find out where that goes and hopefully we get an answer out of YMCA in not too distant future. My last question is in regard to the caravan park new amenity at Witcherproof. Has anybody from our team inspected the job that has been done there? In particular, the floor and the condition for the poor condition that the floor is has been built to, concrete floor, and the fact that it's can't be cleaned. And you can, in my observation of it, scrubbing it just doesn't get it clean, and it's very rough, particularly around the drain points. And I've got to say, I was a little bit disappointed with some other items that were in there too that haven't been finished, but particularly the floor to me was just, I just don't know how it got past anything. So I don't know whether there's an answer to that tonight, but I'd be very keen to have somebody respond to that and address the default list that is currently sitting with that amenity.
Yeah, through you, Mayor, I can confirm it's in that decade period. Okay, I'll take that question on notice and come back to you, Councillor.
That's fine, thank you. That's all from me, thank you.
Thanks, Bill. Any other questions, Councillor Susan?
I've had some mixed reports on the staffing of the Charlton kinder and daycare, and I'm just wondering, was it one-off situations, or how is the arrangement with the new providers going in Charlton?
So through you, Mr. Mayor, the Shine Bright as the new providers for the centre in Charlton have had significant delays for the establishment of their childcare subsidy application through the department. So they're awaiting the establishment of that subsidy to further or be able to open their long daycare. The long daycare side of the building, the kindergarten side of the building is operating in full. And it's my understanding the recent update to families as of the end of last week, I think it was, there's further delays in opening of long daycare, but both long daycare and Secundra, to my understanding, are fully staffed. We're just waiting on that approval of the CCS.
Okay, because my understanding is that we have businesses who want to employ people who can't get daycare.
So just waiting on the long daycare, they can't open until that CCS application is approved by the department. But in terms of staffing for the childcare centre, It's my understanding that staff are in place ready to go. We're just waiting on the department to tick off that childcare subsidy so that when children attend, they can claim it back and parents aren't having to pay the full fee.
If I may, Councillor Simpson, they actually furnished the daycare centre last week, and furnished it all out. But as Ms Allen said, that it's out of their hands, it's the government that's holding this up and not Shine Bright. And they seriously hope that it's through in the next fortnight. My understanding, and I've had some discussion with them as well, so that's what they're. Thank you. Any other questions, councillors? Councillor Mill? Sorry, Councillor Warren.
Nice to see you, other brother Harold.
That's right.
Question on questions. When a councillor asks a question and the response is, I'll take it on notice, when will that response be provided to the council? What is the accepted norm of this organisation? How quickly is that response provided to the council?
Through the Mayor, I would suggest that officers would endeavour to be able to respond to that within a couple of weeks. Sometimes the questions are a little more complicated and may take some time longer, but that would be the intent of that.
So a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Councillor Hogan.
Just got one little point. The Berrywilla community is running its annual Good Friday auction, and as we all know, they for a tiny little town, they raise quite a lot of money every year, and all of the goods for the auction and all of the workers, it's all voluntary. Do we, as a council, is there any way we could show some support for this event by helping maybe with the costs of some meat or bread that they will purchase locally? Do we have a small fund that assists in $200 or $300 to help with the...
Through the Mayor, there is opportunity for council to sponsor events, and there's an application process for that. Equally, there are the community grants process as well. I'm not aware that a community grant's been applied for by that particular group. So they're probably the first two things that I could offer by way of opportunities for them to receive some funds to support the event.
Yep.
Mr. Fitzgibbon.
Yeah, if I might through the Mayor, we are also supporting that group with some promotion of the event as well, through our social media and newspapers.
Thank you.
You
You
with the fire at Melbourne, which destroyed which destroyed the offset soil and other associated things. I mean, it probably puts in focus that grant application we were looking at in terms of supporting the community with the revamp of the old terminal child hospital. I mean, when were the timelines for that? I mean, for that grant application?
Through the Mayor.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Yeah, when is it likely to be awarded?
Yeah.
I'm not sure they've specified any dates. It's in line with the other funding streams through the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
I would expect based on the last lot, which is the two round, it was about a 5 or 6 month period.
So which in the interim, are we working with the community to, I suppose, offer alternatives? That's it. I mean, you've got a situation, I know it doesn't operate and all that sort of thing. Just be aware of it as well.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, sorry, through the Mayor, the building that they want to revamp is still very much at the other end. They can, under that application, we could still look at that building, or where the street nature of the streetscape has changed now dramatically.
Yeah. Thanks, Nick.
Councillor Hill.
Thank you for my very last question. With all the fires we've had, do we have any liability, I guess, or any work that we should be doing or could be doing in any of these? Is any responsibility fall on us?
Through the Mayor, so the initial responsibility during the event falls to the MBS, the Municipal Building Surveyor, who needs to go and inspect the premises, and then beyond that, I think we have provided some council equipment to make the building safe up there with some temporary fences.
So certainly in the immediate response, we engaged a contractor to make safe. There was a facade area that was at risk of other safeties that was pushed in and we fenced off. Essentially the site, the part of the site that wasn't already fenced off, and that fence remains in place.
I'm referring to a couple of fires, not just the Nullarbor one, but one in Burton. And the second part of the question is there, as we saw the bottom end pub in Sea Lake, asbestos problems, is there any asbestos issues that we're aware of with these two buildings, or three buildings?
I can, through the Mayor, I can only speak to the Nullarbor building. It's my understanding that there is suspected asbestos contained within that site. I'm not sure if that has been confirmed to this point.
Not in full.
Not in full.
The samples have been taken.
Yep.
Can we assume that that's going to happen in Birch, or is that as well? Or I noticed the Birch one's been double fenced, so temporary fencing put around it, and then somebody put up more fencing around. But I guess the question's been asked is there anything that can happen in the immediate in the immediate time to eliminate any asbestos potential problems that might be there, if there is. People are worried about the dust, obviously, and they weren't to be worried from one or two other problems we've had, particularly Sea Lake.
Through the Mayor, we'll need to follow it up tomorrow to see what the environmental health officer, they've been very busy in the last sort of week or so on other matters, so it's possible that that site is yet to be inspected.
It has been inspected, but not by the environmental health officer as yet. I know contact has been made with the owner, and yeah, we'll be back in contact with them in due course.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, councillors. 9.3 urgent business, I've got Neil mentioned. 9.4, any other business? 9.5, matters which will exclude the public. Thank you, I've got that on mine. So that brings us to the close of the meeting. The next meeting of council will be held in Witchy Proof Supper Room 367 Broadway, Witchy Proof, on Wednesday, 10th of April 2024 at 7 p.m. I thank you for your attendance and declare the meeting closed. Thank you.
I'll give that to you, or shall I email it through?
Yeah.
It's just my
That's one.
dot points.
Add that to our.
Thank you.
Yeah, pass that off, Mr. Before somebody says anything.
There's a meal there. If you want one.